All right, awesome. So good morning, everybody. Again, welcome to the Money Mantra. This is going to be the recorded session for market psychology and different things that could affect your trading, whether you're trading Forex, whether you're trading HFX. It's just critical to know and understand these things. So I'm not going to start with the full HFX trading checklist. If you do want to know about the trading checklist, you can watch any of my other videos. It's pretty much going to tell you step one is to check your news on forexfactory.com. Step two is to make sure you choose your currency, make sure your payout is worth it. You want it to be at least 70%. Step three, go to your live charts to start collecting your confirmations. But we're actually just going to fast forward directly to step four. And this is not saying that I want you to skip the other steps, but for the purpose of this video, we really only need to look at our chart, right? So when you first start trading, especially with the IM Academy, you're going to notice that you have access to one or a few scanners, depending on which package you actually have. On this particular video, we're going to be talking about the Liberty scanner, which is actually designed for HFX high frequency trading. So you just want to go to goliberty.im. And then you want to log in using your same IM Academy credentials. And it should pull up something like this. This is a strategy called the Web Slinger. Now, if you are familiar with IM Academy, you know that if you click here on strategies, there are actually four different strategies that you can use. And just to not confuse anyone, strategies are just essentially different ways to look at the market. They've taken the liberty, no pun intended, to put together different indicator pairs that are going to help you understand what you're looking at. But before any of this stuff actually gets on the chart, it always starts off blank. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. So before we actually move forward, if you think that looking at the scanners, right? If you think that looking at the scanners gives you anxiety because there's a lot going on, just drop a 2 in the chat. Because I know when I first started trading, the thing that really made me anxious was that I used to say, I'm not a math person. I'm not a numbers person. I don't understand. Like, I didn't consider myself a visual person. So looking at this was very overwhelming because I knew that I had to understand this in order for me to make money, right? It brings up a lot of anxiety when you know for a fact something is so simple, something is so easy, but you don't understand it. So it's frustrating. Um, if anybody knows how to ride a bike, right, drop a 1 in the chat if you know how to ride a bike, right? A 1 in the chat if you do know how to ride a bike, and a 2 in the chat if you do not know how to ride a bike, right? Like everybody knows how to ride a bike. Okay, good for the most part. Good for the most part. Okay, good, good. Now think about it. Riding a bike is easy for you because you understand the assignment. It's simple. You get on this contraption essentially, right, on two wheels, right? You have to find your balance, and once you find your balance, you just pedal, right? It's so simple. It's so simple. But there are people out there who don't know how to ride a bike, and it gives them anxiety because they think they have to do all these things, not understanding that once they understand, once they practice trial and error, okay, you can ride that bike. It's no longer intimidating. Everybody on here, I'm sure, drives, right? Think about a person who doesn't know how to drive a car, or take yourself back to the moment where you first started driving. I know I'm a highly anxious individual. I used to get so anxious at the thought of driving because in my driving school, it would be like, okay, what do you do when you get in the car? You get in the car, you put your seatbelt on, you adjust your mirrors, you look back, you do that. Like, it was just so much. And I'm like, I got to do all this before I take off, on top of looking out for other cars, on top of know how to switch lanes, on top of. But then once I started driving, does driving give you as much anxiety as it did when you didn't know how to drive? No. And that's because you understand that although it's a simple process and it's a few little things you have to go through, it just becomes like clockwork once you get that, right? So that's the same thing we have to think about when we're looking at the market. This is a completely different language. If you were not taught about investing from your family, if you were not taught about, like, I don't remember ever in school my teacher saying, okay, boys and girls, today we're going to be looking at candlesticks. And we're going to talk about market structure and price fluctuations and how we can all benefit off of this. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I never had those conversations before I came into this space. So everything was completely new, right? Everything was completely new. But once I started to understand the smaller parts of the chart, right? The smaller parts of the market and how all these things integrated together, it just became so much more clear and so much more easier. So that's really what I want to do for you guys today in this particular training, is to just well, every training really is to just ease the anxiety of what you're looking at just because you don't know what's going on. I want you guys to be patient with yourselves because this is a new skill. And even if it doesn't click right away, that's okay. I remember getting on the same training. Like y'all really don't understand. Like I'm not slow, but I was really sitting there like so many trainers just looking at the same thing, listening to them say the same thing until it's like it didn't click because I just wasn't understanding. So, for this training, it really doesn't matter which strategy we're going to use because we are going to be looking at the scanner with absolutely nothing on the chart. So here we go. Don't be anxious when looking at this because it's nothing to be anxious about. It's actually quite simple. And I do want you guys to just be confident in the fact that knowing once you understand this, right? Let's think about what we're really looking at here. Somebody described to me in the most basic layman terms. Y'all could just drop words in the chat. What are we seeing right now? Like if you just pulled the screen up to somebody who had no trading knowledge or information, what could you tell them about what we're looking at right now? Like anything that comes to mind, just drop it in the chat. Doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. You could just see, I see red and blue. I see lines. I see shapes. Like literally in the most basic terms. No trading terms, Vanessa, because somebody who's not trading wouldn't even know. Okay, a marked up chart. Okay. Colors. Okay. That's a good one, Jackie. Colors, a marked up chart. That's good, Shay. There's a long line going down and then straight shapes, stand still, sell and buy. Right. It's going down. Right. 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 And you guys are all looking at this from a different perspectives because everybody is not understanding or looking at the same thing, but nobody's wrong because this is what you see, right? This is literally what you see. It's just colors, right? That was a good one, Jackie. It's just colors, shapes, and I say this all the time. These colors and shapes will actually make you a lot of money. They actually will make you a lot of money. So just take your time, right? And be patient with yourself and knowing that once you understand what's going on, you will be able to make that money, right? So I'm just going to delete everything off of the chart. And we're going to do some basic support and resistance, basic market structure, because before there were indicators, right, there were candles. And that's really all you really need to trade, if we're being honest, right? You can trade directly off of candles. And let me delete this too. There we go. I love the naked scanner. So here we go, y'all. This is what the chart will look like if there was no chart markups, if there were no other shapes, no other things. So now just looking at this, let me delete this entry price. All right, so now that we just barely have anything on our screen, what do we see now? Like if this was your first time looking at this, or if you had to describe this to somebody, what do you see? Right, and just try to make it as basic, as basic, as basic as possible. What do y'all see on my screen right now? And how is this making us money? Right? I really want you to understand how simple what it is we're actually doing, how simple it is, and how crazy people's lives has changed because of this. Colored sticks, red and blue candles, chart going up and down. Okay. Colored sticks, like Jackie, you are on point with these words today. Like basically, colored sticks. Do you guys understand that these colored sticks have made people millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires? Like, I really need us to understand that it's so simple when it comes down to it. We're looking at colored sticks, right? We're looking at colored sticks. So when you do first start trading, let's just say you want to have a trading session on your own, just take a deep breath, right? And just be like, these are just colored sticks, right? Who in here went to elementary school? Just drop some ones in the chat if you went to elementary school, right? We really are going to have to pull out our elementary school boots and just remember that it's actually simple. It's actually so simple that we could probably teach this to our people that we know that's in elementary school right now. That's how simple and easy it should be because that's how simple and easy it actually is. So whenever you actually go into the market, step one, right? If y'all want to write these steps down, I'm literally making them up as I go. But the first thing you really want to do is to relax, right? You don't want to go in there highly anxious because if you took off all that stuff, you would be looking at something so simple and basic. So you just have to train your mind to say, okay, this chart it has been marked up for me, but it's actually simple, right? So step one before you start trading, always just take a deep breath. You say, this is actually quite simple, right? This is simple. This is simple. I can do this, right? So I really want you guys to get into a positive mindset when you're trading because if you just come in here like, oh, I need to make money right now, it's like that you might as well go in and rob a bank. Like you're doing it blindly when you can just slow down and be like, this is simple. I got this, right? So everybody can just drop it's simple right in the chat. Drop it's simple. Everybody needs to drop it's simple, it's simple, it's simple, it's simple, it's simple. That's going to be step one when trading, is to understand that what you're doing is actually simple, right? Now we put a lot of pressure on it. We put a lot of emphasis on it because we want to make money. We want to change our lives. We want to do these things, but it is really all simple. You know what else is simple, right? That most people don't do. If you have a goal, you set a goal and you achieve it. It's simple. Like it's literally so simple, but we just gotta slow down and think about that. Because if we come in here thinking like, oh my god, I need to make $50 today. Oh my god, I need to pay this bill. Oh my god, I need to. Oh my god, it's like you're going to throw yourself off, and you're going to start seeing things that are not even there, right? Now let me bring another analogy into play. Have you ever it's just funny, y'all, because I did this so many times. Every time I think about it, it's just like, damn, sorry, whoever was on the other end of that. But have you ever been so mad at somebody for something they didn't even do? You just was looking at it from the wrong perspective, right? You was just looking at it from the wrong perspective. Like you got yourself so mad and so worked up over something that somebody did just to find out that you was in the wrong because you was thinking about it the wrong way, right? If that has ever happened to y'all, just drop some sevens in the chat, right? Because we've all done it. Like we've all created scenarios in our head, whether it be for a business situation, whether it be for a work situation, relationship situation. We've created narratives in our head that were completely untrue, and we've reacted off of those narratives, creating a reality that didn't have to exist if we would have just slowed down and actually thought about it. You know what? This person didn't answer the phone. Instead of saying, assuming, yeah, overthinking, Margaret, instead of assuming what they're doing, where they're at, how about you just say, I don't know what's going on? Next thought. So that's just, we have to have the same mentality when it comes down to trading as well. It's simple, and we just have to slow down and put ourselves in the mindset of, I may not understand the situation, but if I give myself a moment, I will figure it out. Okay. So step one, take a deep breath, relax, remember that it's simple. Okay. So cool. So now we know that we're just looking at color sticks. What are these color sticks? How do they make us money? What's really going on here, right? So for people that are new, or for people who just don't use the correct terms, these are actually called candles. And the candles are actually telling us about the price in the market. Right now, it's going to depend which market you're actually looking at. This could be the stock market, right? Because essentially all trading markets use candles, which is something to understand. So you can be trading currencies, you could be trading cryptocurrencies, you could be trading oil, you could be trading pretty much anything. But if you understand how that information is being translated and reported to you, you have a better chance of making money off of that information. I'm pretty sure if we got into a plane, we don't understand what the pilot is looking at, but the pilot knows what the pilot is looking at, and it's simple because that's his element. Like he knows what he's looking at, but you would be like, nope, can't fly this plane, can't do it. But they would be like, oh no, it's just a no, like until you really get it. Um, so in the market, no matter which market you're trading in, um, it's typically will be two colors, right? The red is going to represent when the market is going down, meaning that there are a lot more sellers that are in whatever market you're looking at, and they're really driving the price down. They're trying to get the price to go lower and lower and lower so that they can make money off of their initial investment. Same thing with the buyers, right? You got the blue candles telling you that the buyers have said, you know what, price is too low. I actually want it to go higher, right? So just a really brief example, not to confuse anybody. Let's just say that like we're not looking at this particular chart, but let's just say let me see if I can draw it out. Right. Let's say if we were a buyer, right, and we bought something for $1, right? We're the buyers. We bought something for $1, right? But we bought $10 worth. 10. So we bought $10 worth. So right, so we have a $10 investment. We bought something for $1 and we bought $10 worth. Now let's say whatever we bought for $1, right? Now the price for it is now $2. And we bought $10 worth. So instead of having $10, right, we now have $20 because the value of what we just bought went up. Now imagine that $1 you investment, you got 10 of it, right? That's $10. The value of your $1 has increased to $5. Now you have $50, right? So as a buyer, do you want to keep driving the price up or down? As a buyer who bought something for $1, y'all tell me, Do you want to keep the price going up or you want to keep the price going down? Yo, let me know. Up, yep, Jessica. Yep, Vanessa. Up, up, up. So that's what the buyers are doing. The buyers are saying, you know what? I know I bought into the market for $1.80, but it's looking real $2.10 ish. Like, just imagine the gains that you could have even with a small investment if the price keeps going up, right? So when I say, or when you hear educators say buyers are in control of the market, the buyers have bought the price so low and they want it to continue to go up because they're making money, right? They're making money off of that. And it will be vice versa with a sale. Like, let's just say you bought something for, I don't know, let's just say you bought something for the opposite. You bought something for $5. No, you bought $50 worth of something, but then it decided to sell. Of course, you will want the price. This should be red, but you will want the price to go lower and lower and lower so that you can continue to capitalize off of something high value that you just bought. Think about if you buy. This could be another way to think about the buyers and sellers and what's happening in the market. If you buy a piece of jewelry, right? You buy a piece of jewelry, and the jewelry is very, very, very expensive and rare, right? If you sell it, you know that you can make a lot of money from it because the price, the value may go down, but you sold it for what it was worth right now. And if you have a pair of shoes, let's just say you have a pair of sneakers and it goes up in value, you're going to want to keep those sneakers because you bought it for a low price. You bought it for such a low price. You bought the jewelry for such a low price that if the value goes up, that's good, right? But now if it's rare and you sell it, you know you can also make money off of that as well. So that's what's really going on, what's happening in the market. And when you look at it visually, I'm going to draw it out for y'all. When you look at it visually, this is what's going on. And I'm only going to operate with what I can see on my chart. Now, mind you, we're not talking about entry points right now. We're just talking about how do you look at the market? How do you understand what's going on? What position do you play? And things like that. So we're only going to look at what we can see, right? So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to start from this point right here, right? So here I can see price was low, right? I can see price was low, right? And just because it's down, I'm only saying it's low because it's down. I don't know how much price was, but I just know it was low. So let's just say price down here was $1, right? Price was $1. But then we see that the buyers, because we see the blue candles, the buyers said, I want to increase the price to $2, $3, right? $4, $5. The buyers just wanted to keep driving the price up. So let's just say when we got to here, price was $5, right? So we can see that from here to here, there was clearly an uptrend going on because we see more blue candles than red candles. And that's a really easy way also to distinguish how you're looking at the market. Do you see more blue? All right, well, we know the price is being driven higher and higher, regardless if it sells or falls back down. Or do I see more red? Damn, no matter what the buyers do, the sellers are really dropping this price low. Okay. So do we see from here, right? And I'm just using flat, simple numbers so that we can understand what's going on. Do we see how from here, the price went from $1, it continuously bought up, and we got the price all the way to $5. If we can see that, y'all drop some sevens in the chat. Okay, awesome. So now the market is always going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? It's always going to be doing the same thing over and over again. So what happened? We see a series of red candles, right? We see that, and let me just put the other numbers over here because we're just going to use these as our levels. Shout out to Oren Wright. He don't teach like this, but levels. You know, you know. All right, so we just going to pretend these are our 4 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bop. So we see that the buyers got the price all the way to $5. Oh my God, my $1 investment just made me $5. That's amazing. Now the sellers are going to say, well, chill. So then they decided to sell, right? And we see they got the price back down to $3 right here, right? And we see the buyers tried to fight that. They said, no, we want the price to go back to $5. But the seller said, calm down. We're staying at 3. We're staying right here at level 3, right? So 3 essentially would be our resistance level because every time the price gets to $3, here come the sellers. Let's take it lower. Let's take it lower. Let's take it lower. And they actually was able to succeed and get the price all the way back down to $1. That's crazy. They said, you know what? We don't really like this $5 thing going on. We're not profiting off of that. Let's just drive the price down, right? So we got the price all the way back down to $1. But then What happened, y'all? What happened next? How high were the buyers able to get the price back from $1 up until, sorry, y'all, this is terrible drawing. What price were the buyers able to get the price back up to before the sellers said no? Resistance, right? Were they able to get it back to level 5, or were they capped and resisted again at level 3? Y'all let me know what y'all see. Y'all let me know. Resisted at level 3. Exactly. So that means whenever price gets to around $3, we know that the sellers have the potential to force it back down, right? And this is where we get our support and resistance from. Support is a place where the sellers, they just can't get it down no more. Every time it hit that price, the buyers said, no, 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 we going back up. And resistance is the opposite. Every time it hits that place, the sellers are like, no, we want it to go back down, right? So let's keep working with what we can see on this chart, right? I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna clear this off my screen. No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep going just so we can have the complete visual, right? So we see that for a while, we ain't gonna say the time because we're not paying attention to none of that. We just understanding what we're looking at, right? So we see this little section right here for a while. Every time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 times, at least 10 times, the buyers tried to get the price back to $5 right here, right? At least 5 times, right? But it was like, no, the seller said, we don't like that price. We're not doing that. So they pushed the price back down. But they didn't get it all the way down to level 2. They got it, I mean, they didn't get down to level 1. They got it actually to level 2, right? The buyers and the sellers actually came to an agreement, right? For a couple of hours, the buyers and sellers came to an agreement. They said, you know what? We ain't going to let the price go high. We can give you 350, but we can't get lower than 175, right? So that's what we consider consolidation, when it's like the buyers and sellers, they're not agreeing on the price, but they can't agree on the price. So the market tends to stay in one zone, which is what we see happening here, right? We see that it hit the support level 2, went back up. Well, it hit the support level 2, went up to the resistance level 3, hit the support level 2, and it just kept doing that because they could not agree whether they're going to drive the price higher or bring the price lower. Um, so then what happens? Let's see what happens next, right? They was in a little tussle, right? The buyers started off strong. Overall, it was a buying market because we can see more blue candles. But then what happened? They stopped agreeing right around here. Somebody tell me what happened, right? What happened right here? What happened right here? Somebody tell me. What happened? They could no longer agree on a price. Hence, the buyer said, I'm tired of this back and forth, right? I'm tired of arguing with you, right? It broke the zone, right? Resistance became support and the buyers took over. Yes, that's exactly what happened, y'all. That's literally exactly what happened. And what was created once the buyers took over? A new level. I'm on a new level, right? I'm on a new level, right? A new level was created because they couldn't agree. The buyer said, you know what? I'm the big sister here. I don't care what you say. We're going up. So they was actually able to drive the price all the way up to level 6. It's like, oh my God. But then, of course, nothing that good lasts forever. We see we had the buyers had a lot of momentum right there. This candle, crazy, right? I just want to check the pip so bad, but that candle was crazy. They reached a new level. But then once that new level happened, remember, this wasn't a sweet conversation. It wasn't a sweet fight. They was actually in a lockdown for a long time before the buyers were able to do that, right? So as traders, if we was in the market right here, right, we would have probably got in for a sell because we said, you know what? Every single time this market reaches level 3 or 4, the sellers push it right back down. So let me get in for a sell. Then we would have got spiked out because the buyers would have said, enough of that nonsense, enough of the shenanigans. Okay, we're going up, right? But then we can see that didn't last too long. We probably would have cleared maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We probably would have cleared 5 times or whatever before the price was actually driven back down. So the buyers did get the price to level 6, but what happened? The sellers pushed it right back down to our previous support level of level 2. They said no. We said no, right? We said no. And then what happens? Now we find that a new zone was created. So now instead of going between levels 2 and 4, we're now going between levels 2 and 6, right? We're now going between level 2 and 6. But we know how many times, like, we see that 2 is such a good support zone. Like, how many times did the market touch that same level, right? How many times did the market touch that same level, right? If this is making sense, y'all, drop a MS in the chat. All right, awesome, right? So now I know I got my little markups on the chart because this is just using the Zoom annotations. But let's just see if I actually use the tools that the scanner gave me to recreate the same idea that I'm trying to explain to y'all right now. So before I erase everything, I'm gonna go to my trend lines, and this is something that I want you guys to practice: is practice putting trend lines on your chart based on what you see, because you really can you you can trade like it's crazy. So on this left panel, you have all these different tools, but you want to go to the second one is the trend line tool. Click the little arrow, make sure you select horizontal line. And I'm just going to make it black so that it doesn't clash with any of the other colors on my screen. I'm also going to change the thickness of the line so that I can see it. And I'm just going to put these horizontal lines at levels of support and resistance that I can see based on the naked scanner, right? Based on the naked scanner. And then I'm going to delete my drawings, and I want y'all to tell me if it still makes sense to you, right? If you still see the same things using the horizontal lines, once I delete the drawings off the chart, there we go, right? So if you guys can see the levels of support and resistance on the scanner, the naked scanner with just the horizontal lines, just drop a yes in the chat. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So if you guys can see it, that means you can trade it, right? And that's the quote I always say: if you can see it, you can trade it. If you can see it, you can trade it. If you can see it, you can trade it, right? If you can see it, you can trade it. So what do we have happening right here now in the most recent part of the chart? And you can zoom out too if you want to see more levels, but you really don't need that much unless the market is trying to break out of a zone, right? You really don't need that much. So what do we see happening here, right? What do we see happening here? So we can actually keep this line here because we know it's a good resistance or support level, or we can bring it down, right? Bring it down to where we see the market is not getting lower than, where we can see the sellers will not, the buyers will not let the price get lower than. And we can see that that's at about 463. Price is not going lower than 463. And when it has, it was brief where it broke outside of the pattern. Now we're looking at this chart on an hour time frame because I never changed it, but I'm going to actually go down to the 5 minute, and I'm going to do the same exact thing we just did. And I want y'all to tell me if it still makes sense, right? I want y'all to tell me if it still makes sense. Now, mind you, I didn't check the news or anything. I literally did not check the news or anything. So this is just a demonstration, right? It's currently on CHF JPY. I'm gonna just do the same thing because remember, it really don't. It does matter what time frame you're looking at, depending on the style of trading you're doing. But the concept and information is the exact same thing, right? So if we wanted to do this markup on a 5 minute, we would just find those levels of support and resistance that we can see, and then those will become our entry points. So I'm just going to add my horizontal lines to the chart based on the support and resistance I can see. Now I know that's a good support line because why? There's no candle activity below it. So let's just say if we go back to the first visual image, we know that the sellers cannot get the price to go lower than 458 at this time. They haven't been able to do it in a while. And if it does go down, it'll be an unusual movement because even if we zoom out, right, it's still unusual. It's not common. So we can put another line right there. Knowing that if the market actually does disrespect our support line, we know exactly where it's about to go. We know where it's going. Hands down, there's no questions asked. It just is what it is. The market's a basic bitch. It just is, right? So basically, we will put as much lines as we need, right? We could put that one right there. We could put one right here because we see that every time price got right there, at least 3 times, it came back down, right? It came back down. So you can put as many or as little of these lines in your chart as you like, but it's just giving you some ideas and guidance to say, okay, where's the market going, right? Where's it going? But you always know where it's going. And look at that. What happened? A blue candle formed before it even reached this line. So we know, right, that I would say 458, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Again, it's going to be no answer, no direct answer, but I would say that if the market got close to like 460 or lower, we should probably get in for a buy because we see it's having a hard time getting to anything lower than that. I mean, I'll pull up my pocket option, or if anybody already has their if anybody already has it open, the currency pair that we're looking at in this example is CHFJPY. I'm gonna just pull it up. Hopefully, CHFJPY. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's 85%. Okay. All right. So we know that if the market gets to 460 or lower, that would be an ideal place to buy. Um, so we would just have to wait, right? Or we can wait for the market to get to 578 and we can sell, right? And now that's kind of high. It's kind of high. So it's looking like you would just want to wait for the buy more so than the sell. But yeah, it'll be about 470 or lower for a buy. If you actually want to bring your resistance line down to match where the current candle is, or even at other areas of resistance, even though it's brief, it's still there. And this is why I always tell you guys to put a horizontal line at the bottom of the candle and at the top of the candle, because we're tracking price for that particular time, right? Now, when we put our horizontal lines like this, we're tracking price over a longer period of time to see how many times it has tested or retested the area. But since we really only care about clearing by 1 point at least, we can really just track the current candle because it's still in a zone of its own, right? So we would have at about 515 for a sell and 470 for a buy. If you guys do take either of those trade ideas, let me know. Because it again, it's all just based on support and resistance and a level that you see the sellers were on, a level that you see that the buyers were on. Z, you can use any time frame you want. This is really just showing you how to enter the trade and track your zones. Um, I don't call trades. I don't call live trades. I just teach y'all how to do it yourself. So you can apply this information anytime, anywhere, if you understand what you're looking at. So we got 470 for the buy and 450, 445 for the sell, based on what we can see here. If you guys understand how I got to those numbers and created that zone based on the current candle, just drop a 1 in the chat. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much how you want to start to look at the market. You just want to understand if you can recognize these patterns. It is actually called a head and shoulders pattern. All right, awesome. It is called the head and shoulders pattern, and the head and shoulders pattern is just pointing out the highs and lows, ups and downs of the market for you. So yeah, y'all, you just want to make sure that you understand that what you're looking at is simple. And the most important thing that you want to recognize is support and resistance, right? Now, mind you, we just did this markup on the naked scanner, no indicators. Now if we let me just refresh my page to add my indicators back. We still on CHFJPY. Let's take this down to the 5-minute. All right, let's zoom out a little. Right, and we should be able to notice those same things. I always say when you guys are trading, no matter what is going on, always add a horizontal line to the top of your current candle and to the bottom of your current candle, because that's automatically going to give you a zone. It's going to tell you what's been happening in the last 5 minutes, not what's been happening over the course of the entire chart, right? Because we don't need to know what's happening on the entire chart, but it helps to know that the movement that we're looking at has actually happened before. So I'm gonna just start off same way, horizontal line at the top and bottom of my current candle. I'm gonna see if there's any repeats in there, and I can already see right here. Look, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 places where the market touched this line and then it went back up. So I know that that will be a great place to buy. And then you can count and see if you see any places where it resisted, which we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can see that, okay, it also sells at that point. Now remember, you can put more horizontal lines based on other levels that you see. But you really don't need much once you understand support and resistance. Support is an area in the market that the sellers have not been able to get the price lower than. So I typically will say if you don't see any candle activity below a line, you know that's a good place to support. Like I wouldn't put a line. Let me just delete this one. I wouldn't put a line randomly right here and be like, well, that's a good place of support. Why? Because I see a lot of candle activity under this, meaning that it could actually be a place for support or resistance, right? It can actually be a place for support or resistance. But you always want to create both for yourself by encapsulating that most recent candle, because you're like, all right, I see other levels there, right? Do you see how this is? If you guys see how this is a good support level, drop some ones in the chat, right? And then, of course, you can just create other resistance areas as well based on what you see, um, because it's very simple. You're literally just making, I call it making a house. Like, for if you don't see nothing above it, good, sell right there. If you don't see nothing below it, perfect, buy right there, right? Now, where the indicators come into play is their confirming is what you're looking at real or is it not, right? So let's just focus on this one little candle right here, right? This one candle, because we got our resistance. We can see that price resisted at that line, and we have our support, and we can see price was supported at that line. Now, the indicators are there to, like I said, confirm what you're looking at. So if we see a red candle, we know, all right, the sellers are in control. Maybe I should be focusing on a sell right now. What other things about this chart is telling me sell? And if we just look down here, we see more red. Remember, okay. Remember, if you see more red than blue, whether you're looking at the entire chart, that's for, it's just telling you in general, you want to focus on your sells. If you see more blue than red, that just means you want to focus on your buys. So we can see we got a red candle. And if we look in alignment with this red candle, we see more red than anything. We see a red cloud. We see a red line. We just see red. So we know, all right, let me focus on this sell. Hence, let's bring this down. And we would know, right, if we don't see much candle activity above this previous candle, that would be a good place to sell. If we don't see much below this, we know that's a good place to buy. Now, granted, we know this is a selling market, but we know that this is a good place of support. This is why you need to always put your horizontal lines on the current candle so that you have your buy opportunity idea and that you have your sell opportunity idea. You just want to go with the majority. However, it's not saying that you can't get into a buy. It's just saying that you should probably focus on the sell because this market is dropping. So we have a potential sell area at 507. If it gets higher than that, it doesn't look like it's going to do much, because we know that this is a selling market. So we want to pay attention to our resistance line, 507 or higher. It's telling us that this market is going to continue to drop, and we can test that out right now. Oh, 507 or higher. There we go. So I'm just going to get in. Right now it's at 510. I got it for a 3-minute trade. It could be 3-minute, 1 minute. It's really up to y'all, to be honest. But you do just want to pay attention to your indicators at this point. Once you confirm, all right, cool. I see every time the market gets here, it sells. I see more red on my chart. I'm going to get in for that. So I took it at 509 for a 3-minute trade. And we're going to see what happens with that. We are expecting it to drop just based on the fact that the candle is red and based on the fact that the indicators tell us that this is a selling market. So we're going to see what happens with this trade. And let's also, all right, and now we see something different happening, y'all. Now we see something different happening, but that's okay. It's important to understand what you're looking at, because we know that by looking at this, the market reached the support zone and then it decided to go up. I still see it selling, but let's see what happens. If you guys took this trade, let me know what your entry point is. And also keep in mind that the original selling entry was 545, and it's still, we have a place that price resisted right there. It resisted at 555. We can raise this up and see there's a strong area of resistance at 618. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this trade. But understanding your levels is the purpose of pretty much this training. And knowing that if you understand what you're looking at, you'll have a lot less anxiety. You'll be able to work through your trades a lot slower because you know what you're waiting for, right? All right, so this one is looking like the market really took off. It really took off. Let's go back to the Liberty scanner. But if y'all can see, it's still within the zone as well. That's really what I want y'all to recognize, that it'll always fall within some type of zone. It's just, is the market going to respect your zone or is the market going to disrespect your zone? So we still got some time. 40 seconds. Let's see. The crazy thing is this market is going to continue to drop, but it seems like it just had a breakout where it disrespected our zone. And we got to be okay with that as long as we understand why. So are y'all okay with that? Understanding why the market disrespected your zone? But look, it's going right back down, y'all. If we don't clear this trade, it's going to be literally by the skin of our teeth. Literally, like by the skin of our teeth. So it's 15 seconds left. Market's only 6 points above our entry. It was 40. So let's see. Let's see. All right. That's cool. That's cool because we saw what happened. We literally saw that we were looking at a zone. The market briefly disrespected it, but then it came right back down to the same area that we knew that it would be in. So that was a close loss. But do we understand why? If we understand why, drop some sevens in the chat. Okay, good. And then, of course, we see that the market is continuing to bounce off of the support at 500. I'm sorry. It's continuing to bounce off the support at 465. So we know that the market could actually go as low as 465 and it can go as high as 546. And yeah, we just know that. That's something to be mindful of. Wow, it's about to really go down. And then come right back up. So if anybody has any questions, please just drop your questions in the chat now. I will take 5 minutes to answer any questions about anything we discussed today. If you would like to unmute yourself and talk to ask your question, just please, if you know how, to raise your hand. Ooh. Where's going from? Let me see if we have any questions. Or if any questions are in the chat. Wow, look at this thing really about to drop to 465, y'all. It's really going to drop to 465 and turn right back around because let's confirm. The area of support is 466. So anything lower than 470 should be good. So let's try this out. Let's try it out. Right? We see that we had a level of support at 466 or lower. I got into the trade at 474. Should be a clear based off, and that's a strong level of support. That is a strong level of support because how many times did the market touch that area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should expect it to go up. If you guys did get into this particular trade based off of that support level, just drop I'm in the chat along with your entry point. Just let me know. Yep, I'm in at 474. Okay, not bad. Not bad. All right. I have about 15 seconds left in my trade. We're going to see what happens because anything can happen. We don't trust this market. She's basic, remember? All right, there we go. That was a close one. Y'all should be clearing. All right, so shout out to Zadia, shout out to Jackie. If y'all got it, Jackie, I know you love your 2-minute trades, so you should be in profit right now. Right? You should be in profit right now. Yep. But yeah, y'all, this to our training just on market psychology. How do you feel when you get into the market? I just want you guys to be mindful of that next time you go in and trade, is to just take a deep breath and be like, you know what, this is actually easy. Like take 2 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes max, to mark up your charts, aka put your horizontal lines, identify those levels of support and resistance, and then check your indicators, because you actually can trade on the naked scanner. I know somebody asks, I don't always trade on the naked scanner, but the reason why I prefer Pickpocket is because it has not a lot of stuff on my screen. I can just essentially look at the candles and then have those levels of support and resistance already built in for me, and I just have to focus on my entry point. I do like looking at a screen with a little less crowded, because once you understand that you don't need those things and it's only comfort. Like the indicators are only there to confirm what you're seeing, but you know what you're looking at, then you'll be able to, one, better choose a strategy that works for you, and two, just have a lot less stress when trading. So if y'all do feel, I know Roy said it really eased his mind with trading. That is great. If you guys feel better, a little bit better about trading on your own now, just drop sevens in the chat, and I will leave y'all with that. I will leave y'all with that. All right, awesome. And for anybody who's still here, just send me a updated screenshot of your active package. I will be checking again. This is for people who want to pay for the information. The class is free, but what can you do if you don't have the Libby scanner? So here's my number: 973 218 4560. So everybody send me an updated screenshot of your active package so we can keep the chat running smoothly. If not, then I'm just gonna have to do everybody. I'm still gonna have to do everybody one by one, but since you guys are here, send it to me so I can just get through the process. But I will talk to y'all later and have a great day.